Donald Trump came out this week very strongly against the Second Amendment. That's right. Donald Trump, a member of the Republican Party, the party that's been telling Republican voters for decades that Democrats want to take your guns away. Trump came out this week and said, "You can't have guns." 4 words uttered out of his mouth to a reporter. You can't have guns. So how does that feel, conservatives? You guys have been under the false belief for, again, decades that Democrats were going to come and take your guns. Republican politicians have put it in campaign ads. They've put it in flyers. They've put it on billboards that Democrats are going to come take your guns. And now we have a Republican president who said, you can't have guns. He, of course, was referring to Alex Pretti. Pretti had a gun on him, sure. A legally obtained gun that he was legally licensed to carry. So he was not violating any laws. He was doing exactly what he was legally allowed to do because he did everything right. And before he was viciously executed on the sidewalk, that gun had already been removed by those federal officers. He was no longer a threat. He was subdued. He had a broken rib. He was detained and then executed. But here is what happened. PBS NewsHour White House correspondent Elizabeth Landers asked Donald Trump, "Sir, was Mr. Pretti acting as an assassin? Do you think he was acting as an assassin in Minneapolis?" And Trump said, "Who is that?" So we're going to start with a little bit of dementia, aren't we? Before he gets into you can't have guns. The President of the United States, who has made repeated comments about what happened in Minneapolis, was asked about Alex Pretti, and he's like, "Who's that? Who's that guy?" Yeah, we're off to a great start. Landers responded, "Mr. Pretti, your deputy chief of staff said that," referring to Stephen Miller. He said, "No." And Landers said, "You don't think so?" And Trump said, "Having said that, you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns." And Landers said, "What about the Second Amendment?" And Trump said, "You can't do that, but it's just a very unfortunate incident." So what about the Second Amendment? Donald Trump says, you can't have that. So we can't have the Second Amendment now. Darn. Look, honestly, if they wanted to go in, amend the Constitution, and totally get rid of the Second Amendment and say guns are outlawed in the United States, my life is not going to change at all. There is not a single possession I have that I will have to purge. There is not a part of my life that is going to be any different than it is right this very second. I wouldn't care. I would embrace it, actually, to be honest. I would be totally okay with that. So, if he wants to do it, he's telling us we can't have guns. Then I think the Democrats need to jump on it and be like, we support Donald Trump's push for gun control. Because that's what it is. This is Donald Trump wanting to put limitations on gun carrying, gun ownership, all of those things that Republicans have campaigned against for decades. But ironically, majority of the public is actually in favor of those things. So this might be, if Trump actually wanted to do what he said, this might be the only popular thing that Donald Trump ever does. Because let's be real here. A majority of Americans want gun control. A majority of gun owners want gun control. A majority of gun owners and regular Americans want the dangerous guns off the streets. They don't want what we see in this country. It is a handful of lunatics with the NRA that keeps the killing going. So if Trump wants to tell people you can't have guns, I'll back you up, buddy. I'll support it. Not going to support you overall, but I'll support that decision. Because something does need to be done. But Alex Pretti didn't break the law. He was allowed to have that, legally obtained it, had it registered, everything by the book. He was the proverbial good guy with a gun, but he wasn't even using it. And your federal agents, Donald, killed him anyway. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.